everyone, and welcome to this episode of Discovering Laguna Woods. As you can see, we are coming to you remotely today using Zoom because we are being respectful of the social distancing protocols. We, of course, hope that you are well and safe and taking good care of yourselves, and perhaps you are engaging in some things that will inspire you or motivate you or challenge you or stimulate you, and spending this period of unstructured time in ways that are meaningful to your life. That in mind, I decided to maybe it would be a great idea to check in with a couple of very talented ladies in the village that are known for their creativity and see if they can share with us some of their unique projects that they're working on and give us some creative insights. So stay tuned, and we're going to be coming right back in the home of Nancy Clan Morin. Stay with us. Well, we are now visiting with Nancy Clan Morin in her lovely home. And I want to start by saying, I hope that you are well, Nancy, and I hope you and your husband, Richard, are doing well and are safe during this time. How are you?
We're fine, we're fine. We are experiencing a little cabin fever, but I'm sure everybody is. We live by the golf course, and oh my gosh, there's so many people out for walks these days. It's like the 405 freeway.
Well, that's kind of nice to have people moving around you, and so that it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of emptiness. So it's really good to see activity too. You know, even if you're seeing it out the window. I've come to a few truths of my own during this time. I have learned, number one, that I do not know how to cut my own hair. That it's perfectly all right to have cereal for dinner once in a while, and that I don't need shoes anymore because I live in my fuzzy socks. Have you discovered any truths?
Yes, I've saved a lot of money on laundry detergent because I basically wear the same thing every day.
Exactly. Glad that those sweatpants were really an investment, weren't they?
But come summer, we can just cut the bottoms of our pajamas off and have
I know. Well, heaven forbid we don't have to go that far, but it is a serious time, and it's okay for us to have a little bit of fun with it. But one of the things that I thought I would check in with you and have a conversation with you, because you are known for being a very, very creative lady. You're fantastical wearable art creations, and you have written an award-winning novel. So, I mean, you are the person to come to.
Stop. You just
no, seriously. I think I can see something behind you that we'll talk about in a few minutes. A couple of things behind you. But one of the things that I want to ask you is, you know, we're in this odd, unstructured time, and a lot of people are trying to figure out, you know, what to do. Do you have any advice for how do you get that creative spark going? What do you go to? What's your reference?
Boredom. I need a project. I almost always have to have something going on. And if there's nothing going on, I have to make something up.
Yes.
You know, even if it doesn't turn out, if I'll start a little project that ends up being embarrassing, I'll still try it and then throw it away. But I think it's just one of those. I think it's that way with a lot of people. You know, it's better to do something. I know the last 2 days I've watched way too much TV. So
yes, it's tempting. So, you know, I live alone, and so to me, sometimes having the TV on is just a voice in the room. You know,
yes.
it can be many things. Sometimes it's an angry voice in the room. Oh, that's mine. So, but it's it fills the time. I like the idea of boredom, because then you want to fill that with something. Now, I go to Pinterest and things like that, where I see a lot of other ideas that people have, and that's kind of a launch pad for me, where I'll type in a topic of something that I'm interested in, and then, you know, of course, there's thousands and thousands of ideas around that. Do you ever do something like that?
Yes, I do. When I want to do something, if I want to make something to take to a gathering, I'll go look at maybe deviled eggs or something, and then I'll see them all little chickadees or little animals or something that people have played with, and that gives me something to, you know, take something different other than just a deviled egg.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes. Cooking ideas are wonderful. I'm assuming these are edible things you're talking about. They could, knowing you, they could be earrings that you're talking about. So your edible art as well. No, that's great. And also, I know that you, we can talk about your wonderful gowns, because I know that you have done them for years and won awards for them at the wonderful Festival of the Arts contest. And I'm wondering if you do you get your ideas from that, from just found objects around you? It's sort of like the unconventional challenge in Project Runway, I think, where you find things around you and say, I can make a gown out of that. Or how do you approach that?
Well, sometimes like this newest gown that I just did, not for the festival, but because I needed a project. And I'm not, if I were a painter, I would just take out a canvas and start painting, but I'm very not good at that. And so I do more 3D stuff. So this one that I just did, through the years, when I take the foil off of a wine bottle, off the neck of a wine bottle, I keep it. I just stash it in a box, and I finally had about 250 of them. So then I thought, well, I can do something with this. So those became the vest of the dress that I have almost finished. Well, and it is behind me. I can bring it closer.
Well, we have some still images of it that we'll certainly show the close-up of the final project, and also the materials that you chose, because you chose another unconventional material too, didn't you?
Yes, the vest is the wine foils. The halter that's underneath the vest is the round caps on the top of the wine bottle. And the skirt is made out of Keurig K-cups, the coffee one-serving K-cups, the plastic ones. And I cut them into sort of a flower, and spray painted them. I spray painted them the silver, metallic silver, and then black.
It's sensational. It really is sensational. I could see that at the Met Gala or some other amazing place, that you would wear something like this and people would be oohing and eyeing, and only you would know that it's made out of these wonderful found objects. That's fantastic. And you create like an undergarment, and then you put these on top. It's fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of glue gunning.
A lot of glue gunning. Oh my gosh. Well, tell me about some of the other gowns that you have made in the past, because they're equally as just awe-inspiring.
Well, the first one I tried was made out of toilet paper rolls, the core, paper towels, and toilet papers. And that was fun, because I sort of manipulated them into curling in interesting ways. And then there's an underskirt, which was just paper towels. And for everybody's information, Viva paper towel is the strongest one.
No, I would have thought that you were using Bounty.
Bounty sounds stronger. But if you ever want to make a skirt, use Viva.
Okay, I'll mark that down.
And then
wow.
the next dress I did was made out of lottery tickets, and the skirt had 1,600 lottery tickets in it, and the bodice had about 100. So that was and I recruited my husband Richard to help me fold them all into sort of an origami fold. When we were children in school, we had something we called cootie catchers, and it was that thing that you would open up and play a game, and there'd be an answer inside.
Yes.
Since that was the only origami I knew, that's what they got folded into. And then when they opened, they looked like little flowers, and it was real effective. I put a bead inside each one, so it did look more like a flower. And that was a fun one. I even had the people from the California lottery office even came down to the house and interviewed me about that one.
Well, I understand you had to kind of go foraging through, the trash outside of the AM PM to get because you had to line up just the logo of the lottery right in the center. I can't even imagine. That's a real dedication to your art, Nancy.
I know. I'd have to wait till nobody was around. Next to the lottery machines, they have a wastebasket, and people who didn't win throw them in there. So I would go rummaging through there, but I'd wait until nobody was around.
That's good. That's good. Before we run out of time, I want to, because I know we could speak for hours about your wonderful novel. I am such a fan. I read it, and it was a page turner. I could not put it down. I think it is definitely an award-winning novel. I think it should be a film. It's just magnificent, The Clock of Life, and it's available on Amazon. So thank you. I can't even imagine, how many stops and starts and how long it took you and how, what that process was like. But if you could just, for people that are thinking right now, maybe they might like to write something. They've got time, they're making maybe connections back to family members or friends or whatever. Maybe they'd like to journal some things. What would you suggest to somebody who might like to spend this time writing something?
For me, writing short stories was what I started doing. And a short story can be anywhere from 1,000 words to 6,000 words, but mine are generally 10 to 12 pages. And it's manageable. It's creative without the burden of thinking, oh my gosh, I have 289 pages to go.
Right.
You can just say, hey, this is just about done. All I need to do now is polish it up. So I think to just dip your toe in the water, I think short stories is a nice alternative to biting off a big chunk.
I love that because, you could do it about a memory that you had, maybe a first pet, or maybe a family trip that you took, or maybe a favorite aunt, or somebody like just a experience with that person in the kitchen one time. What wonderful thing happened between the two of you, and that you might like to write a story about that others would enjoy.
Great idea.
Yeah. Well, this is wonderful. You and I were talking about sewing, and I told you that I don't know how to sew at all, but I was not motivated by boredom. I was motivated by being shocked into it during this experience, because I was watching television one night, and I heard that an emergency room nurse up in Portland, Oregon, said that the Portland hospital system is in desperate need of PPE, and they had, not enough for their staff. And my son is an ICU nurse in Portland, Oregon, and you can imagine the fear that struck me. So I immediately went on Amazon, bought a sewing machine. It came 4 days later. I got fabric from Joanne Fabrics, and I have been making masks and the scrub caps for him, sending them up to Portland for my son, and just kind of channeling all my concern and fear by sewing. And I'm getting pretty good at it. I'm not ready to make a gown or anything of that nature.
Wonderful.
But
that
you get motivated
fantastic.
by. Thank you. Well, thank you.
You could put a whole operation together. Gather other people to join in.
Well, yes, if our need for these face coverings and masks goes on for a long time, I absolutely have an abundance of them here, and we'll begin to make sure they're available to anybody. But that's what some of the things that motivate us are. You never know where it's going to come from.
Yeah, and that one was up close and personal.
It was, very personally motivated. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start sewing something just to help me stop thinking about, what could be, So, but anyway, he's fine now. The things are slowing down, and so all is well, and it's going to be okay. And you know what? I think the important thing here in Laguna Woods is to understand that we all have good ideas about helping each other. We're all in this together. This is a time where we can come together in a very different way, because we are vulnerable, and we want to protect one another, and keeping our minds active, like you're helping people today right now think about other things they can do, is so incredibly wonderful, and we thank you for sharing your ideas with us.
Well, and good for you. You just motivated me to my sewing machine broke right before this thing happened, so it's stuck in quarantine in a shop, so I will go order one from Amazon today. So I don't.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're kind of depending on that now, aren't we? Well, that's wonderful, Nancy. Please give our best to Richard, and hope that you are staying well, and look forward to seeing you in person. Maybe I'll be on that path one day out in front of your house, and I'll wave to you through the window.
Richard goes out there to do a Sudoku every now and then, and I told him he needs a greeter's outfit on, because he says hi to everybody who walks by.
That's the best. And people appreciate that. I drive around when I go out to the grocery store. I'm in my car with my mask on, and I wave at people, and they all wave back. So we're in it together, and that makes it very special. So thank you, Nancy. We will be seeing you soon, and we thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and
Yes.
I hope to see you soon.
You will. You will. You will. Okay. Take good care, Nancy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, here we are in the beautiful home of Margot Flynn, and Margot is known around the village as a very, very creative lady. And also, Margot, I know you to be a very social lady. So tell me how you're doing in this time where we really are kind of confined and have to spend a lot of time alone. How are you doing?
It's really crazy, but I'm having the best I'm having the best time. I even ordered a new elephant for my living room, and I'm making more jewelry, and I'm okay.
Of course you have. Well, I want to see your new elephant when this is all over.
It may come today, so that'll be good.
Well, all right. We'll look forward to your doorbell ringing during this session. So you are you're a very active person. You're a very creative person. I know that you have different processes that you use to be creative. We were talking about that the other day. Some of it is themed and so forth. So why don't you give us a little bit of insight as to how you approach something that you're going to make that's creative?
Well, since my living room is kind of a safari feeling, I thought I should make some jewelry that would go with it, like some tribal jewelry, which I think you have the photos of. And what I do is I go to flea markets, I take old vintage necklaces apart, and I redo them, and I find wooden beads, I find hand-blown glass beads, anything I can find to create the perfect tribal necklace.
So basically you kind of do start with a theme, and you seek out something that sort of fits that theme. Would that be fair to say?
I do. And also I have a seashell. I'm a big seashell fan. And so I buy old seashell necklaces. I buy old seashells at flea markets. And I put together some really fun, fabulous seashell pieces, I think.
Yes, and we're going to be showing all these images as you speak about them because they really are, they're very different from each other. So your themes are very different, and but they're just stunning on their own. They really are a collection of thinking and
everybody look good.
well, they do. And you know, one of the things that I have often said about your jewelry, your jewelry tends to be large in scale. And so and you're a very petite lady. So when I see you wear this jewelry, this large jewelry, it really refutes that whole idea that, you know, tiny people can't wear big things because it looks just spectacular on you.
So I showed you a line that I did previously. I still have a few pieces left. They were very big and bold, and they're called my glamour lines. And believe me, I found these beads up in the garment district. They were so big, nobody else wanted them. So it was perfect, you know, and I've sold a lot of them. And I went on to I've gone on to different things now. I started doing this thing that I found this great stuff in my own house, like in drawers and closets. Like the one thing I wanted to show you, these are poker chips. They're vintage poker chips. What I wanted to tell you is everybody has checkers in their house or old mahjong tiles or old dominoes, and I've made pieces out of them. And it's just a fun thing to recreate those old games, those old things that you play. And then this one, I was going to show you, this was a belt buckle. This was a button that I painted, and this was a bead. And it came out to be kind of wild, but I think it's cool.
Oh, it's fabulous. I can picture that on a simple black dress. It would be perfect. But here's the thing. You have the eye. You know, you look at something and you see it in some sort of a context, a creative context. Other people will see that same thing and not see that. They will not see any other use beyond its function. They don't see the decorative use of it. They see the functional use. And so did you develop that somehow?
I think ever since I started making jewelry, I look at everything as a possible necklace or a pendant. I really do. And another thing I wanted to mention is that I go online to all the high-end stores like in New York and the museums, and I go into their gift shops and their jewelry shops online, and I get ideas for the next season that's coming up. I can't copy it, but I can use the color schemes possibly and put them into my designs. So that's always a possibility for other people if they're thinking about going into making jewelry.
Well, that's it. I think when we have this time, this sort of pause in our lives right now, and we're looking around and saying, well, I think there are some things in my own home that I could be creative. I'm sure people are doing a lot of cooking and baking and that sort of thing. So they're looking around their home and saying, what can I do within the confines here that's creative? And so you're saying, I mean, just found object things, you know, maybe something in an old dress or coat or something that you don't wear. What can you take off of it and use it?
I have old belts with fringe and belt buckles, and they turn out really unique. And I'm wondering, like, should I tell people what they really are? And I go, yeah, I think they get a kick out of knowing how I transformed it and how they could transform that too.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I think we all need sort of a jump start for our creativity, because it's hard. It's like looking at a blank piece of paper and saying, you know, you need to write something, or a blank canvas and say, now you're going to paint something. It's hard to get started. So you're saying these are some things that just you have at your disposal that you can sort of jumpstart that thinking.
Exactly. And now people bring me beads. People bring me stuff that they think that I will use, you know, and I try to pay them. They go, no, we want you to have this, you know. So
I know. I did that too. I had some sort of odd shaped glass, very colorful glass pieces that I had bought at an art fair at one point. And I said, I can't make this work, but I know you can. And you did.
I did. I know. And a very famous person here bought one. I can't tell you who it is.
Well, it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. So now did you grow up in New York City, or did you find yourself there at a certain point in your life? Did you move there, or what is the influence of New York City on your life?
I grew up in the Midwest and ended up in New York and then London, and just in all my travels, And so a friend of mine was making jewelry, and she said, I know you love necklaces, and I do. And she goes, why don't you make them? And I go, wait, come on, I can't make necklaces. And she just gave me a few basic things, and everything I made was copper colored. And I was like, no, the whole world isn't going to buy copper. So then I had to branch out and get into other things. Black and white jewelry is another one of my favorites that is very popular here too.
Yes, yes, and I know you do some things with plexiglass and lucite.
Some vintage lucite, yes. This is a piece. This was a lucite napkin ring. This was an Art Deco earring. And I thought, I think that really looks good. And I just put it on one of these rubber necklace pieces. And it turned out great.
Well, that makes it more modern too. We put it on the rubber necklace. Yeah, that's it too. I think that you're very trend aware, which is also helpful.
Right.
Now, I have to ask you about that piece that you're wearing now. I'm trying to figure, is that actual coral or is it something that replicates coral?
They're coral beads that I found.
Really?
Yeah, they're just coral beads, not real coral. Right. And then I just decided to put them in different angles here, and it really turned out good, but it's not for sale.
Oh, okay.
One of those I have to keep for myself once in a while,
Well, that's good, because I think Village Television was going to be swamped with people wanting to buy your necklace. So,
if anything opens back up, I'll be at the next sale,
Yes, yes. I know one of the photos that you sent, and we will show it also, is that you have a sort of a safari theme going on in your home. Does that inspire you too?
Yes, it did. It really did. I take stuff that I bought for my apartment, like I'll take feathers and I'm going to start making some feather necklaces because I have a lot of feathers in my house. So yeah.
Yes, I like feathers too. I find them just art unto themselves. They're quite beautiful, and they represent so much in our lives. Flight and just beauty. Yeah, they're quite nice. I enjoy everything that you do, Margot. I really do. You inspire me, and I know that you're inspiring others right now by sharing some of your secrets.
I don't want the competition, but it's okay.
Oh, I think everybody's going to find their own way with this information. Everybody's their own style.
I just wanted to mention my wallpaper here is a snake skin pattern. It kind of goes with the rest of my safari look.
It absolutely does.
It's crazy, but I like it.
And and I also find that you're a bit of a huntress, if I can use that term, because I have seen you pursue a quilted vest on eBay the way a lion stalks an antelope. You go in for the kill.
Yeah. Someday you'll come over and you'll see the rest of my safari stuff.
I absolutely look forward to it. Well, you are the incorrigible Margot Flynn, the divine Miss M, and we thank you so much for being with us today and sharing all of your inner secrets about creative jewelry making, and we thank you so much. And I hope to see you in person and give you a big hug real soon.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Cindy. I look forward to seeing you too.
Absolutely my pleasure. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us today as we visited the homes of creative artists Nancy Clanmoran and Margot Flynn, and they shared a little bit about their creative process with us and their creative thinking. We hope that you continue to join us on Discovering Laguna Woods on Wednesday and Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. and anytime on YouTube. We hope that you continue to stay well and take good care of yourself, and also take care of those around us. We are all in this together, and we will see you soon. Take care.